Hey everyone, it's Miss Elise from the Morristown and Morristown Township Library, and today I have a fun hippo craft for you inspired by my friend William over on display at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. William is a hippopotamus statue from ancient Egypt by an unknown artist on display at the Met in New York City. He is an Egyptian faience, which is a ceramic object used for display, which is created through a process which produces bright shiny colors like William's blue skin. He is decorated with lotus flowers, which are commonly found along the Nile River, and thought to believe to bring good healing and good luck to those who use them. He was made as a burial trinket for the temple of the steward Senbai, or a tomb chapel, and which is located in the Upper Egyptian town of Mer. The ancient Egyptians buried their deceased loved ones with different artifacts like William here, as well as food and money in order to create a safe passage for the deceased when they go to the afterlife. Because William is decorated with healing properties of lotus flowers, he is thought to be a good luck charm for the deceased in order to pass on through the afterlife without any troubles. Fun fact, hippos were one of the most threatening animals to the ancient Egyptians, and 3 of William's legs were broken off to prevent him from harming the deceased in the afterlife. His legs have since been restored by the Metropolitan staff, and he now is able to walk again on 4 legs. William is thought to be built from around 1961 BC to 1878 BC during the reigns of Senussi I and Senussi II, the second and third pharaohs of the 12th dynasty of Egypt during the Middle Kingdom period of Egyptian history, which is almost 4,000 years ago. William is a faience, which is a ceramic object used for display, which is created through a process which produces bright shiny colors like his blue skin, and it is usually clayless, but actually made out of powdered quartz and a glass-like coating. William is the beloved mascot of the Met Museum, and today we are going to create a hippo craft inspired by him because he is quite the masterpiece and a beautiful hippopotamus. So in order to make our hippo craft, you're going to need a couple of household craft items, starting with, and most importantly, a pencil. Make sure you also have an eraser, whether it's attached to the pencil or not, just in case you make mistakes. You're also going to need a paintbrush you don't use and some Mod Podge, or a glue-water mixture that can serve the same purpose as Mod Podge, but is a little easier to come by. You're also going to need a various selection of colored markers. I'm using these from Kid Modern. You're also going to need various types of blue patterned blue tissue paper. It can be patterned or solid, it doesn't really matter as long as it's blue. You're also going to want some embellishments of some sort. I'm using these 2 types of stickers. These are gold stars and paper flower stickers. And last but not least, you're going to be needing a sheet of paper. It can be printer paper, but I'd recommend using a sturdier type of paper like cardstock or sketch paper, so that way when our hippo stands, it holds itself up. So we're going to start off by using our sheet of paper situated like so, and we're going to fold it over on itself so that it reaches the opposite side, and make sure you fold it nice and straight and everything meets in the right places so that it is symmetrical, or as symmetrical as possible. Once we have our paper folded, you're going to grab your pencil and eraser so that way we can draw our design or template onto the paper. You want to make sure you have the folded edge at the top, whereas the unfolded edge is at the bottom. This is really, really important to make sure that our hippo stands. and we are now going to begin drawing sort of a hippopotamus-like shape onto our paper. You want to make sure the nose or head is at the one side where the feet are at the bottom. You want to make sure that the top part of the hippo comes in line with the straight edge at the folded top, whereas the bottom is still separated, so that way it can be able to stand in a V-like shape. If you mess up, that's totally okay. Just make sure you erase your lines. Now that we have our shape pretty much solidified, I'm going to begin taking my scissors, which is another tool you're going to need, and I'm going to begin cutting out this shape, cutting both sides of the paper. So you're not just cutting one flap and then the other, you're cutting both at the same time. This ensures that we keep the folded edge at the top while the separated edge is still at the bottom of our paper. And look at that, we have our hippo, or hippo shape. I'm then taking an eraser and erasing all of my extra lines seen here. And when you unfold your hippo, you want to make sure that you fold down a little bit of the leg so that way it's able to stand a little bit sturdier than it would if you just left it like straight. And you can do this on both sides, so that way when you stand it up, it's all good. Now that we have our hippopotamus, we are going to begin with moving on with the craft. I'm going to be using tissue paper, but you can also use watercolor paints instead if you don't have tissue paper at your house. You just want to make sure you stay in the realm of blues and greens for this project as well, or with an accent color of yellow or orange. You don't really want to stray much elsewhere because William is blue and we want to try to keep it as blue as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my tissue paper into small squares so that way it's easier for me to tear it up and adhere it to our hippopotamus body. You don't have to be neat with this, it doesn't really matter. We'll cut the excess off in the long run anyway. So now that I have my tissue paper square, I'm going to begin tearing the paper into small sections like so, or you can also cut your paper into small sections or squares if you want to, but I think tearing is much easier because it allows for it to be more organic and fun to do. So I'm gonna do that, but you can do whatever you like. And once I have a large majority of my tissue paper I guess cut or torn, I'm going to be adhering it with Mod Podge or your glue water mixture onto the hippopotamus body that we have. So I'm going to first apply a layer of Mod Podge onto the hippopotamus paper with my paintbrush. It doesn't have to be a very thick layer. We're just acting like it's glue. And then I'm going to be placing a piece of tissue paper that I had torn right onto the Mod Podge where we had layered it before. I'm then going to take the Mod Podge again and just seal off the excess sides of the paper like so, in order to fully adhere it down onto the paper. It's okay if it spills over the side. We're going to cut that off anyway once we've all finished gluing things down, which I'm doing here. I'm going to speed up this process because it's quite boring to watch, so yeah. I also added some darker blue pieces because it adds a little bit of a colorful dimension. You can also add yellows or oranges too. So now that I've got my finished product, we've let it dry a little bit. We're then going to apply our adhesives to our hippo. These can be whatever decorations you want. I'm using gold stars and these paper flower stickers, but you can use whatever you have offhand at your house. We are then going to take a pair of scissors and cut off the excess tissue paper from around the silhouette of our hippo shape. This just provides a cleaner look to our hippo and makes the craft look a little bit more refined. You may have done a very good job of applying your tissue paper and you might not need to do this step, but I didn't, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out all of my tissue paper. Once that's all done, I'm going to collect my scraps, throw them away, and then start applying my adhesives. I'm going to start with my paper stars. I'm going to start with my gold stars and just kind of randomly spread them out across my hippo in a nice format. And then I'm going to take my flowers and do the same. I'm only placing two because they're kind of large. I'm then going to take my markers and just kind of draw random shapes all around the body of our hippo just to create a little bit more abstraction and creativity within the hippo itself. I'm doing mainly circles, squares, and triangles just because they're kind of basic shapes. Now I'm going to take my black marker and create the face and ear of our hippo. I'm going to draw a small oval circle right about where the eyes should be, and a small open circle right where the nostril should be for his nose. And I'm creating a little bit of a half moon shape right next to my white flower above his eye to create a little bit of an ear shape. And once you have that, your hippo is pretty much done. Look at that. So cute. Oh, it's so cute. Looks just like William. And it can stand too, which is really, really cool. And you can display it in your house, wherever you want. Looks great. And I'm sure everybody is going to love it. See? William and our William. His friend. Great job, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on this artistic adventure with me, and I hope you had a lot of fun creating this hippo, and I'll see you next week for a new art adventure. Bye!